Hi guys, Carol Ann here and welcome to my home practice space. We're going to work on Bakasana or crow pose today. Now I understand this is a difficult posture for many people and you may not have gotten there yet. That's okay. You just hang with the prep work and the modifications and we'll be fine. But in order to do arm balances, and I'm talking about most arm balances, we need upper body strength, core stability, and hip flexibility to be able to achieve many of the postures. But in my years of teaching, I've noticed a couple of different things that people or students do that they need to understand about arm balance postures, particularly crow. So I'm going to bring those things up and we'll have some good teachable moments during this practice. But first we need to warm up the entire body in order to be prepared for that. So we're going to warm up all three of those areas that we talked about already. So we'll come to the front of our mats, get our feet about hip width apart, pick our toes up, spread them wide, pull the belly in, shift the hips back, roll the shoulder blades down, and hands come by your sides. The chin slightly dips in toward the chest, and you can close your eyes or keep them open. Now I'm going to open us up with a mantra, and so if you would like to join with the mantra, then we'll bring the hands into a heart prayer focus. And if you know the mantra, please feel free to come along with me. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navaditamastu Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you have not already engaged in your Ujjayi breath, please begin that now. If you're unfamiliar, Ujjayi is a slight constriction of the back of the throat while you breathe in and out through the nose. The in-breaths make the ah sound and the ex-breaths make the ha sound, the ha sound. Sometimes this is called three-part complete breath, other times it's called oceanic breath. We call it Ujjayi breath. And we use it to give an audible, meditative quality to our practice. Next time you inhale, open the eyes and reach the arms up, interlace the fingers, flip the palms, reach toward the sky, and as you exhale, side bend over toward the left. Inhale to come back up and reach. Exhale, side bend toward right. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, release the hands, interlace them behind the back. Pull the fingers down, the chest up. Exhale, bend those knees. Let the torso and the thighs come together, reaching the arms overhead. Hold and breathe a few rounds. Releasing our hands down to the floorboards. Fingertips come in front of our feet and we sink our hips down just a little bit lower, starting to engage the quadricep muscles. Next, inhale breath, straighten those legs up, offering the heart. Exhale, bend them right back down toward a 90-degree angle. Two more. Inhale to straighten, offering the heart forward. Pull the belly in, exhale, bend those knees deeply in, working into hips. One more, inhale to straighten and stretch. Exhale, bend in. Plant those hands. Your next in-breath takes the right leg back a far distance, dropping down to the right knee. Reach the arms up overhead into a kneeling crescent pose. The hands can be shoulder width apart or come together, palms. Exhale, release them down to the earth. Bring the left knee back to join into a quadruped position. Pull the belly in. Next in breath, reach the hips up toward the sky and the chest. As you exhale, roll the pelvic bone down toward the floor, arcing the upper spine. One more like that. Inhale, reaching the chest up, tailbone up. Exhale, rounding it down and in. Next in breath, come into neutral pose. And as you exhale, shift the hips back, coming up onto the feet into a down dog posture. And in this down dog, softly and gently start to pedal out the legs here. You can add a little bit of rounding around and swiveling the hips and the shoulders if you'd like. I love free-form movement in any posture, so always feel free to do that while we practice together, whether online or in studio. Next time you inhale, walk your hands back to meet your feet, offer the heart up in a half lift. And as you exhale, bend those knees coming up on the toes and drop the hips back toward the heels. So your fingertips can stay on the floor if you'd like. If you want to pull in the core for spinal balance and for a balancing posture, you can bring the hands up into prayer posture. It's completely up to you. Release those hands down to the floor. Straighten those legs up, inhaling half lift. Exhale into a fold. Walk yourself out into a plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest and shin come to the earth. Slide the legs back and the chest up into a baby cobra, or all the way up into up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, back into down dog. Bottom of your breath, gaze goes forward, make your way to the front, one step or several. Offer the heart forward on the in-breath. Exhale into a fold. Reverse one dive, reach and raise. We come all the way up. Exhale, hands in a heart center. Release into our Tadasana. Pull the belly in. Shift the hips back. Shoulders pull down in the back, outside body, and the gaze is soft. Inhale, reach and rise. Coming up, interlace the fingers, opposite pinky cross. Flip those palms up in the air, and exhale, side bend right. Inhale, coming into center. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. Opposite pinky cross. Inhale, offering the heart up. Exhale, bend down, let the torso and the thighs meet, arms reaching overhead back into our squat position, gaze to the belly. Next in breath, release those hands. Keep the knees bent, fingertips are in front of the feet. We offer the heart on the inhale breath. Exhale, sink just a little bit deeper. Inhale, straighten, coming into a half lift. Exhale, bend down into that nice squat. Two more. Inhale to straighten, offering that heart. Exhale, bend down. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale down, softening those hips. And next inhale breath, the left leg steps back into that nice low lunge. Drop the knee down to the earth. Inhale, reach and rise. We come all the way up. Exhale, the hands come down. Right knee joins the left. We're in our quadruped position. And we'll inhale into a cow pose. Exhale, roll into a cat. Two more. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into our cat. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, come into neutral. And lift the knees up. And walk back into a down dog. Hands walk back to meet the feet. Inhaling. Exhale, come up on the toes. Shift the hips down toward the heels. Keep your fingertips on the floor or bring the hands up into a prayer position for us. Balance posture here. Next in breath. Hands come down. Straighten those legs, offering the heart. Exhale into a fold. Walk your hands out into a plank pose. And we can do knees, chest, and shin, or some this time maybe Chaturanga Dandasana. Coming up into a cobra or an up dog. Exhale, down dog pose. While we're here, I'm going to shift and bend the knees a little bit like we did earlier. Maybe swiveling the hips just a touch. Really want to working into our hip flexors. Also into our shoulders and the strength of our body. Next in breath, come forward onto our hands and knees. Cross the ankles in the back. Roll over the back, extend the legs out. Might have to adjust like I did and work into our core. So sit back into a bucket seat preparing for Navasana. The first ones that we do with soles, feet on the floor. Reach the arms forward. Now in this posture, the higher up your arms are in this seated position, the more difficult it is. So you find what works best for you. The gaze is forward, we hold and breathe. Our boat pose or Navasana pose. And next time you inhale, just come right up into a campfire stretch, holding on to the fronts of the shins, really straightening out the back. Keep the belly pulled in, but round back into a cat pose just to get some tensions out. Then we'll come back up into a neutral pose. We'll have an option this time, keeping the feet on the ground or bringing them up and balancing on the tailbone. Again, you can have the arms as high as you'd like or anywhere that you feel the posture and breathe. You're always welcome to keep the feet on the floor. Breathe. Next breath, simply drop those feet down, hold on to the fronts, come up into a nice campfire stretch for the spine. Exhale, roll and round the spine back. Coming up into neutral pose, scoot your bum forward and then roll all the way down onto the back. We're going to work in a little bit more of the core. So extend those legs up. The knees can be bent or they can be straight. Hands will come behind the head, lightly cupping the back of the skull. The elbows are out to the sides. Inhale, lifting the torso up. Exhale to hold. Inhale, reach the torso a little higher. Exhale, hold. Keep the belly pulled in. One more. Inhale, reach a little higher. Exhale, hold. And then release the torso back to the floor. I'm going to do 2 more rounds of those because those are absolute favorites, right? Inhale, lifting the torso up. Exhale, hold. Inhale a centimeter more. Exhale, hold. Maybe half a centimeter or more on the inhale. Exhale, hold. And then release the upper body back down. Okay, yogis, inhaling up, last round here, exhale, hold, inhale, lift, exhale, hold, inhale, lift, ooh. Exhale, hold, and release down. Bring those knees in, to let the feet be mat width apart, knees in together, and just windshield wiper out here, just bringing some tension release for the hips. For the core. And next inhale, breath. Bring those feet about hip width apart, fairly close to the bum. Left knee rolls in, squeeze all that air out on the exhale. Grab onto the outside of the ankle or the big toe, if that works for you, and then straighten that leg up. It can be completely straight or bent. It just depends on what's best in your practice. So we hold here and breathe a little. Stretching out the back of the hamstring. Next in breath, that knee is going to bend and it's going to come toward the armpit into a modified happy baby. Some of our very favorites, I'm sure. Take that right hand, hold on the outside of the left foot. Release that left hand to the floor. And then if you'd like, you can straighten that leg up for a little bit deeper stretch here. It's perfectly fine. Your knee may stay softly bent, just as always. Try to get the chest rolled toward the sky here, so you're in a cross lateral position, but you're still nice and level on your mat. If it's too intense, keep the knee bent. I will release that down. Bring the other knee in, squeeze it in. Right hand hooks onto the big toe. And we come up into this modified happy baby. Remember with happy baby, the knee needs to move toward the armpit and then pull in from there. A couple breaths as we work our whole body into this crow pose today. Now that left hand can hold on to the, oh, you can straighten the leg here, sorry. Straighten that leg up if that feels good to you. Reaching this way, the arm is stretching and the leg is stretching. Now bend back in and then hold on to the outside. The other hand comes down to the floor, so we'll straighten that leg. Then we get the chest turned toward the sky. Breathe. Oh, that feels pretty good. Release, bending that knee, cross those ankles, roll up, and scoot over, roll over onto all fours. So another thing that's going to help us with our crow posture, excuse me, is to have a little bit of arm strength. Arm strength can be really hard, particularly for women. This is what I notice a lot with chaturangas and the plank push-ups, is that when we come in, we come down, and women get to right here, and then they just kind of collapse and down. Well, you know what? We all start somewhere, right? So it's perfectly fine. But if you're still collapsing instead of going into chaturanga, here's a little tip that I can give you for that. We'll shift forward, and then we're going to bend those elbows. And if we feel like we're going to completely collapse, before you collapse, let the knees drop, and then finish out the pose, coming up through your vinyasa, coming back into down dog. So that's a little bit of a tip there to help build some strength into the arms and shoulders during our practice. Next, inhale breath, come into a plank and either do what I had just demonstrated or shift over and come through into your chaturanga. Roll over the tops of the toes here, coming up into up dog and lifting the hips up and back into down dog posture. Builds a lot of strength in the arms. Next time you inhale, come forward into a plank and then drop down to the knees. Bring the left knee in toward the wrist. Scoot the right leg back and let this left foot open out anywhere from 90 degrees to where it wants to pop back to the hip. Everybody's body is different, and so we adjust the pose to fit the body. And so my foot likes to pop back right here a little bit. Maybe yours does too. So I'm going to let it be that. Squaring off my hips, softening out the back of the foot. First, I walk my hands back just to get up a nice tall stance. Little bit of stretch into the hip, reaching the chest. From this established place, I can walk out and lay over the top of that bent knee, squaring off the hips, coming into this modified pigeon pose. It's a great hip stretcher. We worked into some upper body, some core, and some hips. So we're just going to continue to do that, softening easily into the body before we start our crow postures. Next, inhale breath, walk those hands underneath the shoulders, lift up, come onto all fours, and just shift those hips a little from side to side, releasing tensions. Next, in breath, right knee comes to the right wrist, scoot the left leg back, soften out, Open that front leg up to anywhere at 90 degrees or where it wants to pop back. So we're not forcing our body into that. We square off, and to begin, we walk the fingertips back just a touch, getting a nice tall reach of the chest. Inhale, and as we exhale, from this place, we can walk forward and melt into our modified pigeon pose. See if you can breathe through the sticky parts, those places where you feel really tight. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We drop our hands to the earth, walk them under the shoulders, come up and out of the pose. Last time here, we'll shift the hips a little bit up and back. And lift the hips up and back into a down dog pose. You can always add in those free flow movements that we've talked about already. You can add any extra little movements in, really quite wonderful. Our next in-breath, gaze goes forward. You're going to step your right foot outside of the front hand, keeping up off the back knee. Left hand stays on the earth, and you open up into this dragon twist, reaching up toward the sky. Top hand is going to come to the inside of the front foot. You're going to take the back foot, open it up completely, and then reach the left arm up into this deep side angle pose, trying to get the chest reaching to the sky. Top hand comes down, spin up on the back toe, step back into plank, go through your chaturanga or knees, chest, and shin. Remember, if you start to collapse, that's when you drop to the knees. We'll meet in down dog. The bottom of your breath, gaze goes forward. Left foot steps to the outside. Keep up off the back toes. Right hand stays down. Left arm reaches up into the air into our dragon twist. We open up, stretch and reach. Next breath, inhaling. Left hand comes to the inside. Back foot opens up on the exhale. Next inhale, our right arm reaches up into this deep side angle pose. Breathe. Top hand comes down. Spinning up on those back toes again, we step back into a down dog pose. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, down to the knees. Push back into a child's pose, reaching the arms. Feel free to widen the knees if that feels better on your body. Inhale, coming up into all fours. From this position, we are going to work on some upper body strength. So you can come up on your back toes here. Your inhale is neutral. And as you exhale, pull your belly in, cross over the wrist, pull the biceps in toward the midline, and exhale as low as you're able to without collapsing. Inhale, pushing yourself back up. Exhale, push back to the heels. 3 more like that. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, crosses. And remember, if you start to collapse, just don't go past that. Inhale, come up. Exhale, back. So we do the best we can, right? 2 more. Inhaling up. Exhale, cross over and down. Inhale up. Exhale, back. 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhaling up onto all fours. Exhale back into your down dog pose. Right foot steps between the hands. The back foot opens and we rise up through our warrior 2 pose. We reach. See if we can put the weight in that front heel and really press in, deepening into our hips. Inhale, the back hand drops, the front arm reaches. And as we exhale, back through warrior 2. Windmill, hands around. You're bending into that front knee. We're going to work a little bit of core again before we start working on our crow prep. Next, exhale, bring that back knee in toward the chest. Really bringing it up high toward the chest. Inhale, drop it down to the earth. Exhale into the fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reach and raise. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, lifts to the sky. Exhale, folds. Inhaling into a half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step back into a down dog pose. Inhale into plank, and either knees, chest, or chin, or chaturanga, you know the drill. Lift on the inhale, exhale, back. The bottom of your exhale, gaze goes forward, left foot steps between the hands, back foot spins open. We come up through warrior two pose. Inhale, back hand drops, front arm reaches. Exhale, back through warrior two. Remember, you can really press that front heel in, getting nice and deep. Windmill those hands around, spinning up on the back toes. You know where we're going. Keep that front knee nice and bent. Really suck the belly in and pull that back knee in up high toward the chest, working into the core. Rounding the spine up as we would in what? Guess. Bakasana Crow. Release. Coming down. From here, walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. Turn them out. Drop down into a Malasana. Woo. Work those arms on the inside, sinking the hips down into the earth. Get your spine nice and tall. And breathe. From this position, release. Coming up, we're going to step back toward the middle of the mat. Widen our feet back out. And from here, bend the knees. Have the hands come to the inside. The hands are going to plant on, or the elbows come to the inside of the legs. The hands plant down. And first, we're just going to play with shifting. So come up on your toes. Shift the weight. And here's where students might make a mistake. Don't look down. Your gaze is forward. As you're shifting the weight forward, your gaze stays forward. Next, exhale, rock back and down. So we're going to play a couple of times with that before we actually start working deeper into crow posture. Remember, the gaze is not down. You will go where your gaze is. You don't want to fall down, so your gaze goes forward as much as you're able. The arms are in. The arms are pressing out. The knees are pressing against the outside of the arms. This is the first version. We'll have another version here in just a second. Placing the hands down, come up on the toes. Gaze goes forward. We lift our hips up and shift forward. Now here, you can maybe pick up one toe. Maybe pick up the other toe. Coming back down, shift back down into our yogi squat. So we're going to go for the full Monty next time. Or you can also just continue with those preps. Just coming into the posture, lifting up one toe. If you're ready, come with me. Hands placed down. Come up on the toes. Fingers are spread wide, arms are about shoulder width apart, hands are pressing in. We shift forward, the gaze goes forward, and maybe one or two toes comes up, and we're in crow. To come out, same way. Sit back and rest for a couple of breaths, and then I will show you that from the front. Then we'll go to the second round, the second type that I've noticed some students have better time with. And then I'll do that one for the front. So, to turn to the front of the camera, my arms are in, the hands come down, hugging in, pressing in while I press out. Hands are about shoulder width apart. Come up on the toes, my gaze is forward.
I shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. Toes come up. Crow's pose. Release, coming down. Tons of fun. We're going to start the other one. Now, for whatever reason, and I don't really know why, but some students really have a harder time with that. And so option 2, that maybe that's you, might be a little bit easier. We're going to go through the same steps with option 2. Coming up, back into our Malasana pose. This time we're going to kind of work our knees into our armpits. Hands come down. Lift the hips up. Shift forward, let the gaze go forward. And here's your first one. So we just keep our toes down, finding that point of balance. Notice how my knees slid down closer to my elbows and then drop back. Maybe you feel a difference between that one and the other one. It's all good. We'll do it again. This time we'll reach one toe up. And then the third time we'll do the full posture. And you're welcome to stay any one of those that you'd like. Inhale, lift the hips. Shift forward. The gaze goes forward. And then one toe comes up. We drop it down. Other toe comes up. We drop it down. And then shift back. Last one. Full thing here. You ready? I am, I think. Gotta bring those knees in toward the armpits. Arms are reaching out in front. I'm up on the toes. And shift forward. Shift forward, shift forward, shift forward, where it feels like you almost don't feel anything. And then you can lift the toes up. Release. Come down, feel free to rest. So I'm going to do that same thing from the front, just so you can rewind and practice as many times as you like from these videos. One of the great advantages of videos, you can cut through what you don't like, go back and do what you want to do. So this time from the front, my hands are out, my elbows are right inside. I come up on my toes, I shift my weight forward. Remember, my gaze is still moving forward, and I reach my toes up. From there, you can get the toes as high up as you'd like. And come out. I think you did great. I can't see you, but I feel you. So we're going to sit down now because we're pretty much done. We're going to cool our bodies off. So first thing that I'd like to do is to come into just any kind of an easy crisscross. Bring your hands towards your knees, and we're going to do these little circles, these little mandalas around about 3 or 4 times one way, and then 3 or 4 times the other way. So I'm going to switch directions. Inhaling and exhaling, softening our breath here. We'll come into center. Hands are still on our knees. Inhale, lift the chest up on the in-breath. Exhale, roll it back. One more. Inhale to come up. Exhale, back. Coming up into a nice seated position. And just simply switch the cross of the legs. We'll do the same thing. Just because one hip in front of the other, one leg in front of the other makes the hips feel so different. It does for me, and I know it does for you as well. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll inhale, reaching forward about 3 circles in our mandalas. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Switch sides. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And coming into neutral. Extend the legs out in front of you. And I want you to balance out the legs just a little bit, just getting rid of the tensions that are there. Sit up nice and tall, get that butt flesh out of the way. Believe me, all God's children got butt flesh, so just pick it up and move it. Reach those arms up in the air on the inhale. As we exhale, we're going to reach and just soften the feet. Letting the feet just soften and the toes maybe point a little and the head goes down, gaze to the belly. Pull the belly in, flex the feet. Reach and raise back up. Exhale, reach. Soften the feet, melt over. Oh, I love this bottom stretch here. Inhaling last time. Exhaling, release. Everything falls over. Now don't force your fold. Don't try to make your face touch your legs. But think about shifting the torso more forward as opposed to just bending over. So you're just shifting the torso, kind of reaching it forward, letting it fall down. Let the head drop. Few rounds of breath. Next breath, we're just going to roll ourselves up. Cross those legs in any easy crisscross. Reach the right arm up in the air on the inhale. Let the left hand come down to the side and side. Bend over toward the left. As you come up, hold on to the outside of the head and let the ear drift toward the shoulder, exhaling out. Inhale, coming up into center. Hold on to that right elbow with the left hand, and as you exhale, just move that arm a little bit behind you. Soft pull as you exhale, chin into chest. Going to the other side, reach that left arm up. Exhale, we side bend over toward the right. Inhale, coming up, holding on the outside of the head. Exhale to the ear. Inhale, holding on. Reach that arm and exhale, stretch it out. Release both hands down by your sides. Unfold your legs, scoot your bum forward. Hold on to one knee or the other. Roll it down. Yay, our favorite part. Laying down, hold on to the shins. Just rock a little from side to side. Reach the left leg up. Right foot comes to the floor. Hold on behind the thigh. You can softly bend that knee. Just give it a couple little gentle tugs there. Bend that knee into a modified happy baby. Hold on to the outside of the foot. Really bring that knee toward the armpit. And we stretch it out. If you want to, you can straighten that right leg down on the mat while you do this. Let the right hand slide down the thigh. Inhale, lift the torso up, reaching the hand down the thigh, and then to a little bit more depth into our happy baby posture. Torso comes down, we drop, bend that right knee back in, and then let the left sole of the foot come to the floor. Bring the right leg up, hold on behind the thigh. If you get knee, can be soft. Just give it a little bit of a reach here, a little bit of a pull. Bend that knee, hold on to the outside of the foot, and come into this happy baby on this side. You can extend that left leg long on the mat if that's comfortable for you. Let the left hand slide down on the thigh. Inhale, lift the torso up, really pull in here. Nice deep stretch, reaching that left arm down the thigh. And this time, as you exhale, let the torso come down, but the left foot come in, holding on to the outside of that foot. And feel free to just rock a little back and forth, our full happy baby. The tailbone traditionally should be on the floor, but I love lifting up the tailbone, making these little circles or mandalas on the ceiling with my feet. Now, if you do too much, you're going to be like a weebalo, and you're just going to roll right on over. So I want you to do that if you want to, if you're in that play. And go the other way, tailbone either down or lifting up a little bit and dropping it back down. Your choice here, cooling down our practice, getting ready to finish out the work. Next time you come into center, release those hands, bring them overhead, let the soles of the feet come to the floor, opening those knees out, press the feet in. Now, if you're tight hip like me, your knees are going to be up fairly high. If you're loose hip, they're going to be completely open. I just want you to be comfortable. Have very tight hips. Maybe some of you do too. I don't let that stop me, and it shouldn't do either. We are given these beautiful bodies. We want to take care of them. We want to work them and challenge them. But we want to let go to thinking our poses look a certain way or not a certain way, or how other people look. Let that stuff go. What we need here is acceptance of ourselves, of our body types and shapes, and making yoga accessible to all bodies. Yoga for every body. Breathe. A couple more breaths here. And now we'll bring those knees in, walk your feet out mat width apart, let the knees come together. Just windshield wiper out a couple of times just to make sure we don't have any undue tensions in our bodies. Straighten the legs out on the mat, reach the arms overhead into a really good deep full body stretch. Maybe bend those elbows, holding on to them behind and above your head. Let the elbows come toward the floor so you can really feel the lift of the chest and retraction of the shoulder blade. Release that and just cross the opposite hand on top of the opposite elbow there. So just reverse that, lifting that chest and pulling those shoulder blades down. Release, roll. One of two things, hold on to one knee and roll yourself up, or both knees and roll yourself up, or just roll to one side or the other and come up into a seated position in our mats. Get nice and tall, easy posture. Sitting up very straight here. We bring our hands into heart center, thumbs against the chest. With the spine straight, our chin dips in. This is a place to give gratitude or prayer, meditation, whatever your practice is. Returning here to our natural breath. We simply feel our bodies, the vitality of the practice. Beautiful people, bring your thumbs to touch your forehead. I bow to you and you bow to me, and together we say Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Be sure and comment. Let me know how I'm doing and what it is that you need from me. Thank you so much, and see you next time.